Hey guys, Creator Mom. So I wanted to make a video about my food journey because I was doing or reading about intuitive eating. And in my past, I know the way that I found to eat that felt comfortable for me and was like good for me. And, I was at like a weight that, that I liked. That was fine. And but my life got crazy and I fell off of the ways that I was caring for myself, that I liked. Um I would say in 2019, 18, 19, mostly 19, I think so. I began drinking a lot of wine and, I was going through a specific situation and not really focusing on what I was eating, just eating whatever because just being busy and overcome with a lot of physical and emotional burden. Um, and I noticed I started putting on more weight, but I didn't have time, I felt, to really focus or think about myself. I guess I was in a survival mode. And then, 2020, anyways, whatever. And then 2022 is late 2022, fall 2022 is when I decided to leave my marriage and the house I was in because it was not good. And then went to the shelter for four almost 5 months. And there, of course, I wasn't really focused on my nutrition. I mean, I ate what was available to me and things like that, made the best with what was available, like I said. And so yeah, again, like not a lot of focus on like self-care, a whole lot. I was still doing my yoga. I was doing my yoga, meditation, like all that. I don't let that go. Um, but the food kind of just fell by the wayside, it's like whatever. Um, then when we moved to our new place in April of 2023, I, um, got just, was getting back into the swing of me and who I am and getting a routine and, you know, fake, baking again, baking muffins. Like I remember that being like a thing, like, oh my God, I'm baking muffins, like cool, and, then I just was still eating whatever. The wasn't being particular about what I was eating. I wasn't really focusing on my fruits and veggies and healthy eating. I didn't feel like I had the strength to focus in that way for myself yet. Because I'm busy, and again, it kind of became a thing that just was put on the back burner, wasn't like focused on. Busy focusing on other things and just eating like what's available, what's there. So, like not being particular about the bread that I eat. Like I used to eat Ezekiel bread and stuff like that. And, quinoa bowls with kale and blah, 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 and chicken, and just being focused on being more nutritious. So I started eating like white bread, the basic white bread from the store. I was just like, whatever, and not that I was using intuitive eating as an excuse to eat this way, but I was focusing on my mindset and like being free with food and not guilt driven, which is fine and all, you know what I'm saying? It's fine. And focusing on the way that I felt after I ate certain things. I still think that's very important. If you're eating something and you feel like shit afterwards, that's definitely a like strong indicator, like don't eat that thing. That's pretty simple to understand, I think. It's not really a food rule, it's based on your experience with what you're eating. So I knew that like white bread wasn't like the best thing for me to be eating, but I wasn't finding the strength to get myself back in that area. It just wasn't there, right? So then suddenly, like a few months ago, like a couple months ago, I could say now, at least 2 solid months, I think, I came across a video, a short on YouTube. And this guy, I forgot his name, but he makes really cute shorts, him and his family, and he lost a bunch of weight. And he was talking about just stuff I already knew in my life, but wasn't putting to practice anymore because I felt like I didn't have the strength. It was just weird. Like I was like, oh, I can't like have another thing to focus on. I just can't. Um, but he was talking, he has simple shorts on YouTube talking about bread and the enrichment process and, how these additional synthetic vitamins and shit that they add to the bread and just the enrichment process puts weight on people and, can cause inflammation and shit. So I knew this is all stuff like I already like knew with my head and had practiced before, but like let it go because I didn't have strength to do it. And then something about watching this guy talk about what I already knew and was like reinforcing, it brought it back alive for me. It was really weird. Like it was like a moment where I was like, yeah. And it gave me strength. Like something about watching this guy's video gave me a surge of strength. AAA's calling. Gotta go.